Welcome back to day 21, uncovering your valley journey and or your dip. Sharing your valley journey or your dip is the #1 way of connecting to over 98% of the people who are listening to your message. Your valley journey builds connection, establishes common ground, and lets your listener know that you're the right person to serve them. Man, I gotta tell you, sharing my valley journey or my dip, whichever one you wanna call it, sharing my valley journey has been the #1 way for me to connect with more people all over the world. I was once on a television show, and while I was the coach on the show, I spoke for 20 minutes. 3 minutes and 28 seconds, I gave my valley journey, that dark time in my life when I was confused, when I wasn't strong, when I had something to come through, when I need to show my resiliency. And can I tell you, of the entire 20 minutes of what I'd like to think was some brilliant coaching, the part that went viral was the 3 minutes and 28 seconds of my valley journey. I mean, like over the course of 7 days, 7 million views, then 13 days, 14 million views, then 31 days, like 27 million views of just that part. Why? Because people can relate to you. So here's how you do it. Now I want you to really understand this process. So I want you to think of it as a big V, okay? So make a big V, right? And at the top left-hand side of the V, I want you to think about this is the big you. These are your big achievements. This is the impressive accomplishments in your life, what you may have already done. So this is the things that people say wow about. So you gotta be willing to celebrate yourself. You gotta be willing to know the things about you that are pretty impressive. And this is where you place it. Now, I'm gonna show you how to use this, but first I wanna kind of put it together for you, right? So at the top left part of this V, because we're gonna go in the valley. See, so the V represents, this is the mountaintop, and the bottom of the V is the valley, and the top right-hand side of the V, that's the next mountaintop, right? So at the mountaintop are all the things you're brilliant at, all the things you've achieved, any awards you received, anything that you've done, all the accolades. And if you have a hard time pulling these things out, ask the people around you. They know what you're brilliant at. And then go down into the valley, right? The valley then becomes an all-time low in your life. A time when you didn't feel confident, a time when you weren't sure about yourself, a time when your life was in financial chaos, a time when you were broken, a time, whatever that challenge is, that's something you had to come through. And then go back up to the top part of the V, the next part of the V, the mountaintop again, and these are the lessons you've learned. I do what I do because I'm passionate about teaching, because I'm committed to this journey, because. So this is your brilliance, okay? This is your brilliance, down to your low point, up to what I call your why, your commitment, your passion. Now, when you take someone into the valley with you, all of a sudden something magical happens. Most speakers, when they garner the respect of their audience, but not necessarily the loyalty or the relationship with their audience, is because they unconsciously, in some cases consciously, do this. They go from the top part of the valley, right, the mountaintop, here's who I am, here's what I'm great at, here's my bio. You hear all that about them. They may not say it, but you read it about them, or they might mention it, or the person introducing them mentions it, and they go from this mountaintop, get this, they go from this mountaintop to this mountaintop. So here's who I am, here's my expertise, here's my lessons learned, and then here's what I'm committed to teach you. Here's what I want you to know. Here's why I do the work. And while that seems normal, because that's the old norm, that's the way we've always heard it, what I want you to do in the new era of speakers, the new era of change agents, the new era of communicators, you don't just go from top to top. You go, here's who I am in the world. Here's my bigness. I own it. I own my greatness. And then here's where I come from. Here's that time when I didn't feel so secure. I didn't feel so powerful. I didn't have everything together. This is the transparency. This is the vulnerability. This is the risk-taking. And that's why I'm committed. That's where I'm going with you. That's why I want to teach. And this is why, you see that? Now, when you take someone from your brilliance down to your low point, back up to your why, all of a sudden, in the middle, wow, in this space right here, your entire tribe lives. See, your tribe doesn't live from top to top. Your tribe lives somewhere in the journey. You go and get everybody. No one's left behind. An audience of one or an audience of 1,000, no one's left behind. Today, I have the honor of running a multi-million-dollar business, traveling the world, touching over 30 million people each year on multiple platforms. I have the absolute honor of autographing books, inspiring people, and coaching individuals to their greatness. But it wasn't always that way. There was a time in my life when I myself was broke and broken. I couldn't figure out exactly how to harness my power, how to stand in my greatness. Heck, I didn't know how to even speak up for myself. There was a time in my life when I saw more dark than I saw light. I saw more limitations than I saw possibility. I came from a really wonderful family, but I just didn't quite see the greatness in Lisa. I didn't see the possibility in Lisa. I measured myself based on all the things I didn't do right, all the things that didn't work out for me. I didn't measure myself based on my tenacity, based on my perseverance, based on my determination. I found myself living inside of my fear. I was afraid to fail, but heck, I realized I was also afraid to succeed. And that's why today I spend so much time teaching people how to turn breakdowns into breakthroughs. I teach individuals how to find, own, and use their voice. I teach individuals how to stand in their greatness, own their power, and utilize their influence in a way that inspires others to do the same. Did you get it? I just took you into my valley. That's exactly what I want you to do. I just gave you a real life example of what does it look like to take the journey in the valley. So the big U, and then the valley, an all-time low, and then the heightened, the why, the where, the why are you here? I just did it to you. Now here's the deal. When you do a valley journey, the valley journey needs to be relevant, say relevant, it needs to be relevant to your message. So only take someone in the particular valley, because oh, by the way, we have multiple valleys. You got a valley around finances. You got a valley around relationships. You might have a valley around health and wellness. Life brings valleys. You know, on that machine in the hospital, you know, that machine that you're hooked up to, and it's a monitor and it goes up and down, and you want to keep that machine going up and down. You never want the machine to flat line, because that means that like you're dead. So your life, the stories, is like that machine. Right? It's like that machine. So if you think about time when you weren't confident, or a time when money was a challenge, or a time when you felt lonely, or a time, whatever it is, relevant to what you want to do in the world, relevant to what you stand for in the world. So just pick the appropriate valley for the mindset, or for the intention, or for the journey now. So a relevant valley. So I picked the valley when I was broken, because now I teach people how to own their prosperity, stand in their greatness, creating a financially, spiritually, and a relationship abundant life. That's why I picked that particular valley. Now, if I were talking about health and wellness, then the high point of the V would be today I live in a phenomenal body that allows me to live my purpose. I live in an active body. I teach individuals how to stand in their greatness, become mobile in their body. But it wasn't always that way. I'd gained nearly 100 pounds hiding from the things I was afraid of, using work as a way to not own the fact that I was afraid to be loved, afraid to be held on to, that I was living in a sense of wanting to be liked and not wanting to overwhelm people. So I put on this jacket called weight. And because I did that, I lived for 19 years inside of a body that didn't belong to me. I felt like I was trapped in this space. On the inside, I knew who I was, but on the outside, it didn't match. And so I became committed to do the emotional work, the mental work, the spiritual work, and then the physical work became easier. I always thought I had to eat less and work out, but that never stuck because I didn't do the emotional work that gave me what I needed emotionally to release the weight. I didn't lose the weight because I don't want to find it. I released the weight because I was done with it, because I was willing to do the work. And now I'm committed to helping other women and men do the same work that they need to release whatever unwanted weight that they have. You see how a relevant valley. So when I'm talking about health, then use the valley of health. When you're talking about finances, use the valley of finances. When you're talking about relationships, use the valley of relationships. So a relevant valley. And now I'm gonna give you the opportunity to watch several videos of me online if you haven't already done so. So now you've watched me give them to you directly to you. Now I want you to watch me give them in a video blended inside of an entire message. Because then you'll see the valley connected to the message, connected to the content, connected to another valley, connected to more content. You'll see the symphony. So I want you to identify from 2 to 3 videos. I want you to then post in our tribe, what was the name of the valley? What was the context of the valley? What was the name of the story or the speech? I want to know that you saw it, because if you can identify it, then you're that much closer to doing it yourself. So now we're going to go on an exploration through the valley, through Lisa's valleys and her stories. Identify them, give them names. I want you to identify and explain the show me story that I might do. Show me, how did I show you? How did I engage? So I want you to dissect and pick apart a few of my messages, because when you do that, we're that much closer to getting you there as well. So in this exercise, in this posting, I want you to explain the valley. What was the valley? Was I in an all-time low in finances? Was I lonely? Just explain the valley. Boom, that bottom part. And then I want you to explain what was the story about? Where did I take them to? Just pick apart. I want you to what we call unpack the message. Later, I'm going to teach you how to deliver a show me story. But if you can already give me some of the spots in my message where you can tell that I was showing something versus telling it, I want you to be a little advanced and post that as well. Tribe, chime in to see what someone else picked up that you might not have picked up. What you picked up that someone else didn't see. So I want you to, as you're posting, I want you to recognize, what did other people see? What was something that they saw on the same exact story that you may not have seen? I want you to literally unpack. I want you to become surgical here, because when you can take apart the layers, and that's what I want you to begin to do. I want you to begin to take my message. As you look at these 2 to 3 messages, I want you to pull out, oh, wow, this is dialogue versus monologue. Oh, wow, look at that body language there. Oh, wow, that was a valley. So everything I've taught you thus far, I want you to pull it out, and I want you to identify where it was. So yeah, you might have to look at the same message several times, but it's because I want you to unpack it, because then we'll put it all back together again and then give it back to you so that you can do it as well. All right, you know what I'm gonna say. In addition to that, do the mirror work. Those 3 sentences are everything. And as always, and I never take it for granted, and I don't want you to forget it, I'm your sister. I mean it when I say that. I don't just need a tagline at the end of my videos. No, I don't. I'm saying it to remind you that I am your sister in prosperity and in possibility. And I love you. I really do. I'll see you tomorrow.